All right, welcome to my FX Buddies, the podcast. And I say podcast because there are multiple mediums on which you can interact with this content. My favorite way, the one that I suggest, and you're probably going to want to go to today because I got a video, nothing fun, just interesting. Well, you know me. Okay, so the blog is at myfxbuddies.blogspot.com, but that's too much to type in or remember. So, wherever you are engaging with this content, look for a prompt of info, intro, more, description, something of that nature. Click on it. Another box opens and it has a link directly to the blog, the free blog. You don't even have to put your email in, and I don't sell you anything. All right. So there's a video there. Ay, ay, ay. I didn't, I didn't delete it, but what it is. So I put it all the way down at the bottom. Oh, it does show. Okay. Why is Iraq struggling to power its country? It's CNBC International, not the regular CNBC, and it's in English, but you know, um, yeah, you might want to watch that. Look, can I make this? Look, there's one of their mosques. So, yeah, I found that, came across that, and wanted to share that with you. So, for those who don't, there's people who want to hear about the articles, but they don't really want to read the articles. So, items like this, I put at the bottom of the blog, so you can go to the blog and just scroll all the way down, and it's there. Okay, so let's get into it. It was Friday. Oh man, it was National Relax Day. Did you know that? Did you relax? I did, and the day still went by fast. There was hardly any news. Look at all that space there. You know what? I think I published this. No, it says preview. Anyway, so most of the news was about you know who and you know who and their little meeting. Yeah, so it was nice for Friday. Yeah, anyway. So this is Iraq's currency challenge. Matter of fact, I think I'm gonna change that to Iraq's dinar challenge. The fight against the parallel market. And this is Mustafa Hantoush, the little cutie that I like. Well, I probably shouldn't call him little. He's a grown man and he's an intelligent man. But anyway, so he was interviewed. This might be that same show that I was excited about. Remember? I don't know because see, the background's kind of, you can't really tell what it is, but whatever. It's a new focus. He's saying new things, even if this is a previously used image, right? Dismantling the parallel market is key to the dollar's return. I know it says to 135,000, but that's because they speak in terms of $100 bill. And we do. For me, the math is easier when it's a $1 bill. So we take off, if you're looking, we take off the last two zeros of this number, and we take off the last two zeros of the 100, and you get one dinar, $1 to 1,350 dinars. So I guess for him, if the parallel market rate gets to 1,350, he's satisfied. He is saying that the parallel market has been defeated if it gets to 1,350. Okay, so why is that important? Because some people say, what does this mean to us? Um, well, okay, remember, I read articles, so my perspective is from the articles. I don't have boots on the ground. I don't go around and listen to 50 other people like you guys do. So, it's in thinking, and we have seen maybe 2 years ago, it was said they need to get to 1,000. First, it would be get rid of the parallel market. So it would be the same with the CBI, which would be 1310 roughly, right? Then 1,000, then they would change the rate. Now, like I said, that was years ago. So that may not even matter because they're ready to go. And we could wake up, well, not tomorrow. For those of you who are new to me, I think it's going to happen on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday those are international banking days. That's just me. I know a lot of people think it's better to do it on the weekend when the markets are closed. But, that doesn't make sense to me. If the markets are closed, and I know they do. They still manipulate the markets on the weekend. Matter of fact, let's see. What did they close at? Refresh. Yeah. So 1308 even. See how there's nothing there? I'm always suspicious of that. And then the Google, see, 1310 even. That means the human was like, okay, time to clock out. Let me punch in 1310. That's what I think. All right, so we'll see. We'll see if we'll get another dip like we did. 2 weekends ago? Was that 2 weekends ago now? Man, time flies. Okay, let's get back over here. So, financial researcher Mustafa Akram Hantoush emphasized that addressing the exchange rate issue, boy, isn't that a good way to put it? Exchange rate issue in Iraq requires working on two main aspects: reforming the banking system and dismantling the parallel market. I said defeated, huh? Whatever. He noted that any partial solutions will not be sufficient to achieve the desired stability. And we know they're working on reforming the banking system. That's all they talked about this week, right? And this week was a good article week, despite short hours because of that holiday and all those people there, right? And they are gone. That holiday's over. Well, they're not gone, but they are leaving. So yeah, Saturday, tomorrow I think they'll still be leaving, and then Sundays they should be back to normal. All right, so in the interview, okay, so I guess it is a different show. He was interviewed. He explained the Iraqi banking system suffers from weak competition due to the limited sale of dollars to a limited number of banks, in addition to the fact that most of them face international sanctions. He indicated the current cooperation with Oliver Wyman aims to find practical solutions and increase the bank's capital. So he kind of has a different tune here because the way that I received him in that other program, he didn't care for Oliver Wyman. But so reducing restrictions on the banking system and opening up competition in foreign remittances will contribute to market stability. Because remember, the Iraqi banks don't have access to dollars through that remittance system that we approve of, right? It's 10, 40, we don't know how many banks, right? We know definitely 10 of them. The other side of the solution is dismantling the parallel market linked to trade with Iran, where small traders and travelers to sanctioned countries operate. And that's always been the problem, right? They needed to give the merchants, the small, medium merchants, a way to deal with Iran and I think Turkey. And now I'll probably throw in Syria as well, right? Okay, so yeah. So then he says possible solutions include agreeing with the U.S. Treasury. Yeah, that might be something you want to do since we control your money. And if you still don't believe that we control their oil revenues, scroll on down. We'll get there. They put a very lovely report out today, again, explaining how their money goes to us first. Their oil money, right? Okay, so agree with the U.S. Treasury on mechanisms for transferring funds, establishing three-way accounts for imported goods, and developing legal formulas for transferring funds to sanctioned countries via payment cards in their local currencies. So, see, they're limiting hard currency, no dollars, no dinars, no toman. The money's going to be digitized right onto a card. But how do you pay a government? How, how do you put a government on a debit card? Wow, right? Anyway, okay. So yeah, so he concluded by saying controlling the parallel market could restore the dollar exchange rate to 13.50 to $1 if these steps are implemented comprehensively. And we know they are trying to do that, right? Because they always say the comprehensive banking system. So they are working on that. But here, I actually think this is a good thing. It took a couple of days to come together. So here's this guy. Does he look familiar? Joe Wilson. Remember him? He's congressman. He's always threatening Iraq. We're going to take your money. We're going to put you on sanctions, right? So here he is again because I think in yesterday's we talked about they have proven it's no longer, I guess it's no longer allegations, but Rafferty Bank financing the H people, Yahya Saree and his people, right? So they must have proof. So there he was complaining. He was on Twitter/X. And yeah, so if you want to read all of that, you can. Um, he gets into, I don't know if you can see that. I'm not going to say it. But he explains how they are, why they're not for us, right? And how they've been holding the Red Sea captive for, it has been 2 years, maybe a year and a half. I don't know. Time goes by so fast for me. There's no access to Swift for them, all of that. So if you want to read all of that, you can, because really, it doesn't matter. He's got no complaint because look, Rafferty Bank signs an agreement with an American company in the field of financial consulting and oversight. And guess who it is? It's not Oliver Wyman. And it took place here in America by the Iraqi embassy in Washington in a new strategic step that reflects Iraq's growing financial standing on the international stage. The Iraqi embassy in Washington witnessed the signing of a professional partnership agreement between Rafferty Bank and K2 Integrity, a global leader in financial and regulatory consulting. So I'm thinking, do we have a Rafferty Bank here in America? They'll never tell us, right? But yes, so then this is the official notice on the Ministry of Finance's government website. So not Miss Sammy's website, or it's an official website, official government website. And they, say the same thing. So Mr. Joe, he has to go away. Yes, we hear you complaining about, the goings on, but K2 Integrity is going to be there to watch over them. They got busted. So if they were doing it, I'm sure we've cut that vein off, right? And there's probably 14 other ways they're doing it, right? But because if you find one, that's just the one you found. Usually that's how it goes, right? I used to be an auditor. Woo. So, but anyway, yeah. Okay, so moving on. Ankara, which is Turkey, sends Baghdad a draft of a new oil agreement. The current situation does not meet our expectations. So I knew that was going to happen. But I didn't remember. I think it was up here. So the day that it was big news that Erbil and Baghdad had signed agreement, I almost said, oh, but Turkey's going to use this as an opportunity to negotiate a new contract or whatever agreement, even though the one they're in is set until July of next year. But I said, no, 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 I'm not going to say what I want to say. Let's just bask in the positiveness of that day. But yeah, so then the next day they came out and said, yeah, we want to talk about our deal. That deal we're on right now is 50 years old, and we want a new one. Now, but they could already have, well, clearly, if you read this article, look how long this is. They have their details already out. So they already know what they want. And it goes into electricity. There's other things here. So I don't think it's as I can't think of the word. Starting from scratch. Like I thought they were gonna have to start all over again. But Turkey announced that the new draft agreement regarding the transfer of Iraqi oil to the Turkish port of Ceyhan also includes cooperation in the field of natural gas extraction and power generation projects. Because going forward in the future, there's going to be lots of changes, right? And so they're already looking forward. Some things we don't even know what the changes are going to be. We just know in 50 years from now, there's going to be lots of changes in everything, right? Money, energy, border lines. I think some borders are going to fall. But anyway, that's just me. Okay, so they already have pretty much what they want. So now it's just discussing it and going over, okay, you can have that, but you can't have that. Or bring this down some, the negotiating phase. All right. If you like what I do, if it helps you, and I know it does because you guys tell me, and I feel loved and I feel appreciated, but I still have to say this because there may be someone listening for the first time. Welcome if you are. And if you are, click thumbs up and maybe subscribe. All right. Because I take time to get used to. I know. But what do I always say? Once you get used to me, you'll be like, however did I get along without her in my life? All right. So if you'd like to, these are the ways to support me. This Buy Me a Coffee link will be a live link when the blog is live. Cash App is always live. $, all lowercase letters. Tish Wash, T as in Tom, I, S as in Sam, H, WASH. And PayPal's the same. And people keep telling me I should get Venmo. You guys just don't know. I hate doing technical things. Because it's not hard. And I know I sound like a whiny little brat because I am. I'm a whiny little brat. I don't like change. I don't like doing new things. But I will. I'll get around to it. Okay, so is this the one? No, this is the short one. Okay, this is a good article for if you're newer and you don't understand why is this taking so long? Why can't they just flip the switch? Right? Because that it does seem like that. If you read this article, or definitely if you read the longer one, you will understand why. So it says Iraq's oil fortune, the 2-decade grip of a U.S. fortress. So it's kind of like a story. It's not just facts, 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 which is what I like. They've kind of written this like the history of their issue is here. And then also, see, Basra is picking up how much oil they produce because they actually want Basra to be an oil hub. So there's people in Basra that are probably just now learning the flow of money, how it goes. It doesn't even go to them. So say India's buying oil from Iraq. India pays directly to us, to the Federal Reserve, right here, U.S. Federal Reserve, Bank of New York, where they remain under strict American oversight. Then they have to ask for money from us. And we can say yes or no. And we have in the past. When last year, towards the end of the year, they asked for $1 billion. And we said, oh, you can have $500 million. Yeah, it's your money. I know it's your money. And it's your oil revenues from your oil. But, you know, we want to make sure you don't give it to the neighbor and whoever else, right? So, yeah, that's the way it's set up. All right. So, from mandate to custody, billions in New York. So, it's really interesting. Old debt, new risks. And this is the short version. There's an even longer one. There's an even longer one down towards the bottom. All right. Washington intends to withdraw hundreds of troops from this base. This is the base that gets kablooies dropped on it often, and then also the little scones, phones, and tones, right? So they've moved them because there's I think September, they're supposed to move out a large amount of, I could say troops. I think I could say troops. So if you read this, you're like, oh, look at us. Good on us. We are cooperating with the whatever it is. Um, there's a name for the something framework. It's a deal. It's a contract or whatever. And I just can't think of the name. But so if you read this article, it appears that we are complying. But I keep telling people these Iraqis, they're pretty sharp. So here, I'm not gonna say that title, but basically what they're saying is there's some friction right now between the U.S. administration and the Iraqi administration, based on that law, the Popular Mobilization Forces. And someone was in the news today saying, oh yeah, we're going to get that passed. So then also there is talk of the thing that lasted 12 days, and then they're currently on a ceasefire plan. Yeah, that there's rumblings of, oh, I think that's about to end. I hope it doesn't. But so they even address it here in this article, the resumption of the conflict, aggressive conflict between the neighbor and Ice Cream Land. All right, and then the security expert, pointed out in an interview that the American and foreign forces present at that base are considered mobile forces, meaning they are not fixed and are constantly moving between 3 bases. And each of these bases are linked to each other. So that means they just moved from one base to the other. They didn't leave, right? And guess what? They're not gonna leave either. But so I think we tried a little trick and we got caught. That's how I see it. But there's still time. See, at the end of September, the International Coalition Mission, that has It does. It has a time's up date, but it's been extended, and they probably will extend it again. Okay, so here, from Basra to Manhattan, the full story of Iraq's money being withheld by the Federal Reserve. So there, that is, it's a good read. Like I said, especially if you are new and you don't have this background information. See, and that's easy. It's right there all in one place. All of us who've been here all this time, we had to find little pieces of the puzzle and put it all together, and then the Federal Reserve wouldn't come out and say, yeah, we hold their money. But so much time has gone by, and matter of fact, it may have been the present U.S. president. He is being interviewed, and he says we have a large amount, and people trying to make it seem like he was saying we hold Iraqi dinar, but he wasn't. He was saying we hold Iraq's money. Um, so yeah. But anyway, that's it. I'm gonna stop talking. It was a good week. Let's go into a good weekend. I think it's gonna be quiet, a quiet weekend as they wrap up. Like I said, they're still moving those 4, 5, 7, however many millions of people. They're still moving them out. So, yeah, if I don't update tomorrow, it's just because there wasn't anything worthy of posting. But definitely Sunday I will, because I don't like to go more than 2 days, right, without posting, because then it gets too long. Again, thank you for hitting the thumbs up button on your way out on YouTube. It helps greatly, and it doesn't cost you a thing. And like I said, if you'd like to subscribe, join, follow, do that, because I don't post regularly. So when I do, if all things work as they're supposed to, you would be notified. And you don't want to miss a thing, right? Okay, so accumulate while we wait for the rate to appreciate. Don't miss any meals and pay all your bills. Enjoy the rest of your morning, night, noon, whatever time frame you are indulging in this content. And until next time.